Morning. A little cool out today, but no worries, all good. I'm going to pick up where I left off in the last video. I'm going to get the hood clear coated, and while it sets up, maybe get on putting the headlights in, and hopefully get to wet sanding and buffing the hood and getting some chrome and stuff on it. So yeah, we'll just get right to it, I guess. Nothing else to say. All right, so there's the hood in clear. I put 5 coats of clear on here. Everything went really well until the 5th and final coat, when one miserable little black fly or fruit fly decided to park his ass in my paint. I don't know if you can see that mark right there. I was able to pick him off, so the rest of it should sand and buff out when I buff it out tomorrow. But yeah, no runs, and very little bit of orange peel, but nothing that won't sand out. Overall, it's pretty damn good. So you know, with 5 coats, there's lots of material there to work with, and wet sanding and buffing should take care of any blemishes or any problems. So yeah, tomorrow when it sets up, they say 16-18 hours before you can touch this stuff with sandpaper. So yeah, noon tomorrow, I guess. I'm not going to do anything in here until this is dry to the touch. That should be in about an hour from now, and then maybe I'll tackle some headlights or something. But I just don't want to raise any shit in the air and get it in paint, because it's still very tacky. And I'm keeping an eye out for more fruit flies, because they'll still stick to that until it's dry to the touch. So there's not much you can do about it. You know, what are you gonna do? Stand guard? And you ever try and slap a fruit fly? That just doesn't work. Anyway, that's where I'm at. All right, so that thing's dry to the touch. These are my headlight pieces. Now this one here was missing the grommet, so I put a new one in. This would pass your wire through, of course. And this one is missing one of the adjusters. So I'm gonna steal an adjuster from this old girl here and get that in. Either, I don't know, screw or little bolts or something, or maybe even rivets. And yeah, get that in there, and then I can go ahead and wire these things up. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart and get on putting that back together. Okay, so I got it all apart, and turns out, you know, you think a simple little job like this would be just that simple, no problem, but oh no. So anyway, it turned out I had 1.5 adjusters. Female end on this one is missing, but the threads are really good on this one. On this one here, the threads are horribly messed up. So you see this the female part of it is just 2 little tabs that fold over and hold it into place. Well, on the ones I do have, you know, when these things get seized up with rust and what have you, the guys push on them too hard to try and get the screw to turn, and the little tabs fold up and the whole block falls into the hole. So I got to get these out, and hopefully the tabs are still there and I can just bend them back in place. So I'm just going to kind of bend this back, pull this out on both of them, and see if the little tabs are in there, get them in place properly, and then bend those tabs back in, and we should be good. I'm going to soak the crap out of this with WD-40, same with these two, and make sure they're working nice and smooth before I put them back in. So, like I just said, another simple job, not so simple. Okay, so I wrestled with these things, trying to free them up for did it in the vise, and I was losing that battle. So I decided to just throw them in here, fill it full of penetrating oil, and let them soak. And I'll do something else instead. But yeah, they should free up. Just let them soak for a few hours or even overnight. I don't care, whatever. All right, so soaking it overnight definitely did the trick. You know, the adjusters all turn pretty freely. Nice and snug though, and you can see how they're clipped in where they should be. So I'm gonna give this is the one I put in. I'll give it a little shot of paint. Gonna let it dry, and then these things are ready to assemble and wire up. So pretty straightforward stuff. So like I said, I'm gonna let it dry after I paint it. The only thing, one thing, when you're wiring, here's a bulb, sealed beam. So you've got two pins here and a horizontal pin here. The two vertical pins, one is ground and one is positive, and doesn't matter which one, either one will make the light work. And the horizontal one is your high beam. That's all you got to know. The rest is very basic. Gonna solder it in, heat shrink it, and all that stuff. But like I say, I'll get to that when it's dry. For now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start wet sanding on the hood and see if we can't buff that out. Okay, so I've been sanding on this thing for quite a while now. What I've done is go over it with, I started with 1000, and the next is 1500, and then I'll go to 2000, and that'll be the final sand. That's as far as I go. I'm not a professional detailer, and I've always said that. So 2000 is good enough for me. If you know, the client wants to take their vehicle out and to a pro detailer and pay a few $100 and get it done, go for it, man. Anyway, there's this being a, you know, garage paint job rather than a you know, professional spray booth. You're going to get some shit in the paint, and that's all there is to it. So there's a couple of touch-ups that I've got to do, and I'm going to do it different this time. Instead of buffing it and then doing my touch-ups, I'm going to do it between the 1000 and the 1500. So because I've got to sand out the touch-ups anyway. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. And it's tiny, and you might say, you know, what, really? Anyway, I'm gonna put my finger there so I can find it. You see that little white dot right there? Yeah, that's a touch-up. That's the only one on this side. On this side, there's a few of them. There were two fruit flies that landed on this side. One was at the front, and he landed late. I mean, it was almost dry. So just his little legs got stuck in the clear. I pretty much knocked off the whole fly this morning when I started sanding. And yeah, I just sanded his little legs right off there. Little bastard. This one, however, I think I did more harm to than good here. Right here, that's where the second one landed, and I picked them out, and looks like I got a few little white spots here, all in a group. So that's a touch-up. And then I've got another, there's a white one, where is it? There, white spot right there, and another little one right here. So I'm going to mark them all with tape once I'm done the 1000. And then I'll get them all at the same time. I want to get them tonight so they're dry by tomorrow. And I can sand them out, finish sanding this thing out, and start buffing. So what you want is this consistent, dull sort of look all the way, right? So this one here, I'm not quite finished yet. So we're pretty good up to here. And then you can see here, that's your orange peel. So it cuts out pretty quick. But, you know, take some arm work and some repetition. And because it's so fresh, it's clogging up the paper pretty quick too. So I'm going to finish up this side, and then yeah, then I'm ready to do the touch-ups, and I'll show you what that's all about. All right, so I cleaned it up a bit, and I marked all my spots with tape. So I've got 7 on this side, which is quite a few. It's still only just the one on the other side. So what do you do? Well, I use this. It's an awl. Very pointy, very sharp. And I'm actually gonna, this may seem brutal now, I'm actually gonna gouge out those white spots and fill them in with mixed paint and show you how it turns out. So I'll start with the one on the other side first. Need glasses for this one. I know you probably think I'm nuts, but I've done this before and it works. I know it works. Okay, so all I've done here really is pushed it in and made a little hole. So when I mix up my magic mixture here, I'll show you that in a minute, I'll just dab it on there and that'll fill the hole. So then when I go to sand it, when it's all even and flush with the rest of the surface, the holes stay filled with the color. So yeah, I'm going to mix up my magic little mixture and I'll be right back. Okay, so I ran sandpaper over to where I jabbed at it. And then on here, I don't know if you can see that, I've got clear, I've got hardener, and I've got paint. And a toothpick. So I'm going to mix all three of these together. And then just going to dab it. There we go. And then just fill the hole. Like so. That's it. So tomorrow when that's dry, I'll just have to sand these till they're flush and go over it with the 2000 grit. We should be ready to rock and roll and throw the buffer on it. So yeah, that's all there is to it. So we'll see how it turns out when it's all said and done. All right, so it's next day. These are all dry. Now I'm hoping they all turn out, but sometimes you have to go over it a second time. You know, once you sand it away, little white speck is still there, or part of it. So yeah, I'm gonna move the tape up a little bit so I got room to sand. Grab my bucket. Okay, so that one has virtually disappeared. So we got success on that one. I'm going to go around and do the rest. As you can see, no more white speck. So, you know, I don't have a lot of faith in this one, but we'll see what happens. So I'll check back in a minute after I'm done sanding. All right, so they all came out pretty good. The one I was worried about, there is still just a little white speck there. You can see that. I mean, it's freaking tiny. I'm going to fix it, though. The other ones are all good. They virtually all disappeared. So I'm going to go over this now with the finer paper. I'll leave this little spot here. I'll fix that up and sort of cover it and work all the way around it. And we'll get on buffing this thing. So it is what it is, man. All right, so sanded it all the way down with 1500 and then went over it again with 2000. So I'll show what it looks like now. I'm using Meguiar's Ultimate Compound, it's called. I find all the compounds do pretty much the same thing, so stick with a brand name, can't go wrong. I'll just tilt the camera a little bit. There. You see how nice and even and dull it is all the way around? That's what you want, you know. So, buff the machine. Start the other side. Okay, just make sure you're always keeping it moving. I just rinsed out my pad, so there was quite a bit of water still in it. This thing's variable speed. Yeah, it's variable speed. The settings go from 0 to 6. I like to run at about 4, 3.5, 4. Find if the RPMs are too high, you end up with like a foggy sort of look to it. That's looking not too bad. I'll show you real quick what I got. There we go. So, not bad. And this was where my touch-up was right over here. So, it doesn't show at all. Not bad. So, there we go. I'm going to keep on trucking and come back maybe when I got one side or even the whole thing done. Well, it's too bad it wasn't sunny out. The contrast would show up a lot better, but I think you can see the difference from side to side. Yeah, she looks pretty good. So, here we go. You can see the reflection. There's a couple little blotchy spots right up there. I see one. So we'll just, you know, got to touch it up with the buffing machine after. But for now, that's I'm calling this side done and looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and finish up the other side, and yeah, I'm pleased. I think once the chrome is on this thing, man, it'll look freaking hot. So there you go. All right, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I am not a detailer and never claimed to be one, but that hood looks pretty damn good. So there you go. Now I can cross that off my list behind me, among a few other things. And yeah, next is we'll get the chrome on that thing and really sexy her up. Sexy her up? What? Anyway, you know what I mean, I think. Yeah, so if you're watching this video and you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd truly appreciate it. And thanks to those who have subscribed. You know, like the page, leave comments, and all those things. It all helps the channel, and truly appreciate it. And I actually enjoy the comments. I try and read every single one of them. And yeah, just gonna keep on trucking, man. Knocking things off my list. So there you go. If you're not doing anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.